to the man of the moment. Chief Justice, may we please have your reply to this outpouring of love?
Thank you, Deputy Chief Justice, Chief Justice Designate, Justice Mandisa Maya, for giving me this opportunity. President Mbeki, former President of the Republic, and Mrs. Mbeki, Honorable Ms. Togo Tidiza, Speaker of the National Assembly, Minister Similane, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. I've already acknowledged the Deputy Chief Justice, the Archbishop of Cape Town, Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, Deputy Minister Nel, Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, my colleagues, Justices of the Constitutional Court present, retired Justices of the Constitutional Court present here, Justices of the Supreme Court of Appeal present, Judges President, and all judges who are with us today. The retired Chief Justice Mogoeng and his wife. I'm trying to see where they are. Oh, okay. Regional court presidents and chief magistrates present, heads of Chapter 9 institutions present, the Secretary General of the Office of the Chief Justice, heads of departments and Directors General who are with us this morning, as well as other senior officials, representatives of the legal profession, members of the public following these proceedings via virtual platforms, members of the media present, Mam Tembu, Mrs. Zondo, and my children, and other members of the extended family present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's no longer morning. Like yesterday, today is a very special day for me and my family. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude and appreciation to the Committee of the Justices of this court, which is led by Justice Mhlantlane, to bid me farewell. Last night's function was at another level. Nothing was amiss. And I think today's ceremony has been organized just as well. I really want to thank the committee and all my colleagues for honoring me in such a special way. I do want to acknowledge each and every one of you who is here today for taking your time to join us on this special occasion. Many of you would have had important business to attend to, but you made time to be here, and I think that is something that I appreciate very much. However, I would like to especially acknowledge and thank President Begi and Mrs. Begi for taking their time to be with us today, as well as the Archbishop. We could not be with them last night, and I just want to say you missed a lot. But we know that you had other commitments, and that is why you are not able to be with us, and we thank you that you are able to be with us this morning. We did have former President Motlanthe and his wife who graced the dinner last night and sent an apology that they would not be able to be here today, and I thank them for taking their time to be with us yesterday. As the public knows, the President had publicly indicated that he was going to attend last night's function and he was going to deliver a speech. In the afternoon yesterday, I got a call from him when he indicated that he was no longer able to come. And he was very sad that he was no longer able to come. When he phoned me, he told me that he was with his daughter. And I accepted that it was a valid reason. But I thank him that he had planned to attend, and I thank him that he was able to ask the Minister of Justice to read his speech. I want to take this opportunity to convey my thanks to the President for all the kind words that he said about me in his speech. And I thank the Minister for reading that speech as ably as she did, even though she called me old last night. She said retired people are old people. What happened last night, she was sitting next to me, and there was an accident that happened. The waiters came and put a drink between us, and I went for it. But actually it was not mine, it was hers. I had ordered water, but in my mind it seemed that it was mine. And she said, no, you see, you are retiring. You are old, so you have forgotten. But thank you, Minister, for reading that speech on behalf of the President. What does one say when so many eminent people have said so many kind words about one? Deputy Chief Justice, thank you very much for your speech and for all the kind words that you have said to me about me. I also thank each and every one of the representatives of the legal bodies who spoke. And I thank the Minister as a representative of the executive for her speech, as well as the Speaker of Parliament. I thank all of you. We do not have the time for me to say even one or two things that each and every one of you said, but I just want you to know that I really appreciate everything that you have said. I used yesterday, last night, to mainly thank people who have been in my life, who have supported me, who have helped me to be where I am. Without going through the names, I repeat that. Because, as I said yesterday, it was not simply me alone. It was not my hard work alone. It was because there were so many people who supported me for me to reach the heights that I did. But this morning, I also want to say thank you to this country for being so kind to me. Indeed, South Africa is a country of great possibilities. It is a country where somebody can be in prison for 27 years and come out of that to be president of the country. Indeed, it is a country where somebody without any formal education can rise to be the president of the country. Indeed, it is a country where a boy from a rural village who fetched firewoods from the forest, put them on his heads to take them home to the family, for the family to make fire and cook. A boy who fetched water from the spring, put a bucket of water on the head, climbed a hill to take it to the family home so that the family could cook and wash. A boy who looked after goats and cattle, who engaged in stick fighting with other boys. A boy raised singly by a single parent, a great woman, as a resilient woman. can rise and become ultimately the Chief Justice of this country. I'm very much aware that it's not only me, because I know that the Chief Justice I succeeded came from just as humble beginnings. Chief Justice Mogoeng. He told those who were at the dinner last night how poor he, Justice Madondo, and I were at University of Zululand in the early 80s. He said, you could just see us. Anyone who saw us could just see that these are very poor. He used to use a different term in the past, namely that poverty was written on our foreheads. He used to wear overalls for most of the time. And that was really not because he liked overalls, but that was part of the poverty. That's what I think he got from his father. He too rose from those humble beginnings to be Chief Justice of this country. And he led the judiciary with great distinction for 10 years under very difficult circumstances. And I do want to take this opportunity to acknowledge his outstanding leadership for the judiciary during those 10 years, because we never got an opportunity to give him a proper send-off, because he chose that we shouldn't do it. The contribution he made for the judiciary, in building the judiciary, is immense. The structures he put in place continue to operate. And many of those who are present here and those following on the virtual platform will never forget his Nkandla judgment, which, in my view and the view of many, helped to stop the country as it was sliding further down. I want to thank former Chief Justice Mogoeng and his wife for the extraordinary support they have given me over many years. Thank you very much. Words are not enough to describe the kind of support you have given me throughout. So thank you very much. But I want also to say that when When I say this country has been very kind to me, in part it is because over my 27 years on the bench, there is no president of this country who served at least a full term who did not appoint me to some or other position. All of them, without exception, who served at least one term, appointed me. President Mandela appointed me as a judge of the Labor Court and also appointed me as a judge of what used to be called the Transvaal Provincial Division of the High Court. President Mbeki appointed me as Judge President of the Labor Appeal Court and Labor Court. President Zuma appointed me as a Justice of the Constitutional Court and subsequently as Deputy Chief Justice. I don't know how happy he is about that. President Ramaphosa appointed me as Chief Justice. President Zuma also appointed me as Chairperson of the State Capture Commission. So all the presidents have appointed me at some stage or another to some position. I thank President Ramaphosa for having had confidence in me that I would be able to lead the judiciary properly. It's an extraordinary opportunity that I was given to serve as the head of one of the arms of the state. My term of office was short. I wish, of course, it was longer. But our Constitution and jurisprudence is clear that there may be no extension of the term of office as Chief Justice. But I'm very grateful to have been given this opportunity to serve in this country as Chief Justice. I want to thank the heads of court for their support during these 2.5 years. I want to thank my colleagues on the Constitutional Court for their support as well. I want to thank the JSC for the cooperation that we had in working together after the 2022 interviews. We were able to work very well, despite what may have happened at the interviews. Everybody was respectful and courteous and cooperative. And we made the progress that we made, which has been referred to. During my term of office, I've sought to uphold the Constitution. I've sought to uphold the rule of law. I've sought to fight for the independence of the judiciary. Throughout that time, I've been very clear in my own mind that it was my duty to do so. Even if it caused me enemies in the process. When one chooses to accept appointment as a judicial officer, whether magistrate or judge, one has got to appreciate the honor that goes with that. The honor that you are made one of those that society says you are one of those who are going to tell us when we get out of line in terms of the Constitution and the law. From the poorest to the richest, from the powerless to the most powerful. And that, as members of the judiciary, we should never compromise. The confidence in which the society displays in us as the judiciary, or the confidence that they have in us as the judiciary, is earned by ensuring that we uphold the Constitution. We stick to performing our duties in accordance with our oath of office, no matter what. This job forces you sometimes to make judgments that you yourself personally do not like, because when you make judgments, it's not what you personally want that you must do. It is what the Constitution and the law requires. Indeed, Speaker, you referred to the Prince judgment, which you called the marijuana judgment. You must never think that every judgment a judge gives is a judgment that they like. But judges are not going to tell you, I like that judgment, I don't like that judgment. But we take an oath to adjudicate in accordance with the Constitution and the law. And that case too, which was unanimous, was adjudicated in accordance with the Constitution and the law. Of course, there are others, many others, which not just the Constitutional Court, but other courts too, have handed down during our constitutional democracy of 30 years, which sections of society might not like, but they were adjudicated in accordance with the Constitution and the law. As I leave the judiciary, it is my wish that the judiciary should never deviate from that. being a judge or any judicial officer is not a position where anyone should seek to be popular. It is not a position where anyone should seek to always be praised in the media for their judgments. It is a position where what matters should be whether the judgment or the case has been adjudicated in accordance with the Constitution and the law, without fear, favor, or prejudice. If, as the judiciary, we are seen by society and the public as doing exactly that, we will enjoy a lot of confidence of society. Indeed, as I've said before, in other platforms, when people appear before us, it doesn't matter how unpopular you may be out there, we must treat you with respect and courtesy and give you a fair hearing. And if in terms of the Constitution and the law, you must be successful, you must be successful. You may be the most popular person outside there. If you come before us and in terms of the Constitution and the law, you must fail. You must fail. That must remain something very dear to us. I know that some sectors in society or sections in society make all kinds of allegations against the judiciary, one of which is that the judiciary is captured or some judges are captured. It's only a few. I believe that the majority know that and accept that this judiciary works very hard and performs its functions the way it should. Society must reject those people who keep on making all kinds of accusations against the judiciary when they have no evidence. When they have been called upon to produce evidence and they don't have evidence, but they keep on making allegations that some judges are captured or the judiciary is captured. Society must reject that and say that is not how you behave in a constitutional democracy, because there are mechanisms made available to you, there are fora made available to you where if you have got evidence you can take your complaints and take your accusations, but you cannot continue making all kinds of accusations which you know you cannot prove against the judiciary. It is my hope that going forward there will be less and less of such people. Thank you very much to my colleagues again for all the work we have done together. A lot of it has been mentioned by speakers. I will not mention it again. The work of the Commission, which has been mentioned repeatedly, was very important work for the country. Last night, former Chief Justice Mogoeng explained how it came about that I became the chairperson of that commission. That in fact he and I were looking for somebody to be chairperson, and we phoned a number of judges and either could not get them or they were not available, until he turned to me and said, "What about you, CJ?" Because we were sitting together when we were doing this. And my answer was, "If you want me to do it, Chief Justice, I will do it." He said, "I want you to do it." At that time, as I've said, I knew what going to that commission meant, but I believed it had to be done. And I'm grateful to all those who were in the commission, and I see some of them in this room, who made sure that the work of the commission was done as well as it was. Many of them sacrificed and worked for months, sometimes without being paid. And I'm grateful to them. It is my hope that indeed mechanisms will be put in place to make sure that we never have a repeat of state capture. But the question arises, are we putting in place such mechanisms? Prosecutions have their place, and indeed, they will contribute. But prosecutions come after the event. They don't prevent. They will help if those who are thinking of engaging in acts of state capture believe that chances are that they will be caught, they'll be arrested, they'll be prosecuted, and that there are good chances they'll be convicted and sent to jail. If they think that chances of them being caught are minimal, or that chances of them being prosecuted successfully are minimal, they will continue. And if those mechanisms are not there, we will have another state capture. One of the things that Parliament and maybe political parties need to reflect on is, how did it come about? What was wrong with our systems that allowed or made it possible for the number one citizen in the country to be part of that? How did it happen that somebody who could do that went through the ranks? What happened to our systems? How do we need to fix them? We have to make sure it doesn't happen again. The best gift that members of the judiciary and my colleagues can give me is that they will remain faithful to their oath of office. They will uphold the Constitution no matter what. They will uphold the rule of law. They will fight for the independence of the judiciary. And they will adjudicate cases in accordance with the Constitution and the law. With those words, I want to say, South Africa Thank you for being so kind to me and for giving me the opportunities that you gave me. Indeed, it was a singular honor and privilege for me to serve you, the people of South Africa, as your Chief Justice. Thank you.
Right, that was outgoing Chief Justice Raymond Zondo speaking at a special sitting that's been held specially for him to bid him farewell after 27 years serving in the judiciary. Of course, he's been Chief Justice for the past 2 years, and he's handing over the reins to the Chief Justice designate, Mandisa Maya. He said that he was very grateful for the support that he was given throughout the years by various people, and one of the things that he mentioned to his colleagues is that they must stay true to their oath of office and that they must uphold the Constitution. He questioned how it was that somebody like President Jacob Zuma, although he didn't say it in exact words, would be involved in state capture.